Live from the Rockabessa in Hitchin Hearts, UK, in association with Bloodfire Studios and AJLR Media. Welcome to the Big Debate Show. I'm your host, and usually I say every Monday, but tonight is our final show on Series 2. But before I say another word, let me just introduce you. If you don't know, this is Anna, my co-host. How are you? Can you believe it?
Really good. I can't believe that it's just gone so quickly.
It's gone so
really quickly.
And from the start of the year, it's been 25 shows.
All good topics as well.
All good, strong topics. And it's sad, but like they say, it's not the end. We will be back, but it's going to be a totally different flavor. So, without further ado, because time is always, it just goes so quick on this show.
It does go really, really quick.
What are we talking about tonight? In fact, let me...
I will throw it out there. So the topic for today's, our last debate show is, what do you think is more important, to be feared or to be respected? So that is today's topic.
Wow. That's the first. You've done very, very well. Very well. Nice and strong.
Did you not fear me?
I got no reason to fear you. If I did fear you, you won't be on the show. Yeah? You are a kind woman. Really kind, and there's a lot of good things about you. But back to my viewers. You've just heard it from Anna. What's more important, to be feared or respected? This is our last show for Series 2. So if you've got something to say, don't hesitate, don't wait. You know the drill. Or if you're new, the number to call is 07818 361 551, or use the Facebook or Twitter page, The Big Debate Show. Twitter, leave out the W. To be feared or respected, I tell you, let me start off this. It all depends what side of the fence you're on.
What does that mean?
Meaning, if you're... Take Mike Tyson.
Okay.
When he was in his prime. A lot of fighters used to fear him before...
They probably still do.
Not only boxers.
No.
But I've got nothing against Mike. I'm just saying.
No, big fan here. No.
I've got nothing against Mike. But when I say it all depends what side of the fence you are, because if you're on the other side where you're of fear of this person, is it a respect thing or is it fear? But if you're the person that people do fear, do you want them to fear you? Or do you want them to respect you? So that's why I'm saying, what side of the fence? Because the person who is feared, does that person want to be feared? Or does that person want to be respected? But on the other side, is it a respect thing? Or is it a fear thing? And that's what we're going to get into on tonight's show. It's our last show. So don't hesitate, get involved. Anna, where are we going to take it? I'm going to see.
Is respect and fear kind of the same thing? Or if not the same, do they go hand in hand?
It all depends. And the reason why I say it all depends, because, you take sport, you take fighting. Mm-hmm. Like I say,
Which, I, as you know, have done competitive kickboxing, so I have not necessarily feared my competitors, but if I've looked at somebody and they're really good, and I know that I'm going to have to fight them at some point, generally there is a fear of, that I'm going to fight them, but there's that challenge as well.
Right, but when you're talking about fear, how I would describe fear is, it's not a nice feeling. It's you're overpowered, yeah? And the thing that you're feared of, you see that as overpowering, yeah? And it's I won't go as far as to say you stoop down, you.
So I was just going to say, is fear and scared different?
They're very close. They are very close because, you know, and they are linked. You know, to fear someone.
Isn't necessarily meaning you're scared of them?
You're scared of their actions.
Okay.
Yeah, you're scared of their actions. So it does come in hand. You know, fear. You got fear of someone. Sometimes you don't want to be around that person because you're scared of them. You fear them. You don't want to be. As soon as you see that person, you're hiding. That's fear. Yeah. So it does come hand in hand. And respect now, that's another thing. You know, when you respect someone, it's nothing to do with fear or scared. It's that you look on that person, and sometimes you think to yourself, you want to be like that person. You know, you see how this person acts and how this person condones him or herself, and you think to yourself, you know what, I respect that. But what's more important tonight, my viewers, is the big debate show, The Judge and Anna. What's more important, fear or respect? Anna?
Right, well, I was sort of throwing this topic out there to a lot of people. Now, a lot of people have come back to me to say, majority of them have said respect. Now, I'm sort of, as I've got older, definitely respect is something that I would be more towards. However, this is just a little exposure of me. When I was younger, I moved around a lot of schools, not because I was naughty, just because my family were in the army, so we moved around a lot. And when this happened, the first couple of times I was bullied, and people, as what happens when you move around schools and nobody knows you, so they sort of picked on me. And I had to try and figure out how I was going to deal with this, because I knew I was going to move to another school again, and I didn't want the same thing to happen. So I came to the element of thinking that I wanted people to fear me so that they didn't bother me anymore, which happened. So bullies, almost became my friend because they respected me because I challenged them, whether it was saying nasty things back or actually physically fighting them.
So are you saying, don't want to put you on the spot, Anna, but
no,
I have
it's
to.
Fine.
Are you saying that at school there was 1 and 2 people that feared you?
Definitely, and I was happy with that. I actually was thankful that they did fear me because I didn't want any problems coming into school. I didn't want my bags, my shoes, my dinner money to be taken away, my books taken out of my bag and thrown in the toilets, things like that. So I felt like I had to fight. So for me to fight, it was to show people, do not mess with Anna.
Wow.
And that is fear.
And I will let you into a little secret. I won't say I was bullied. I was slightly. And anyone who's been on the other side will know that they can still remember the ones who bullied them.
Yeah.
And even up to this day now, if I close my eyes, I can think of those nasty boys who tried to bully me. And it's not a nice feeling. And sometimes it sticks with you for the rest of your life. I understand where you're coming from. But on the other side of it, the ones that you said feared you, it's not a nice feeling to be going to school and know that if you spot this person and this person says, come over here, you're going to come. Not because of respect, but because of fear. And it's a part of me. I don't fear nobody, but I try to respect the ones that show me respect. But when it comes to fear, it's a different thing. And I have to ask you, can you fear someone and respect that person at the same time? Or is it totally a separate thing?
I don't know. I mean, look at the Cray brothers.
Ooh, yeah.
Now, they were one of the biggest, gangsters in London. They were feared, but then a lot of people say that they were respected as well, because their actions are the way that they did things, and they sort of looked after their mum and they looked after their people. But at the same time, people were afraid of them.
And you can tell why.
Well, God, of course, I can. Yeah,
you can tell why.
Yeah,
and
but then that's what I'm saying. Does it go hand in hand?
It all depends who you talk to. Yeah,
True.
It definitely all depends who you talk to.
It's true. I think, for example, maybe close family members of the Krays would have respected them.
Yeah.
But then
yes.
the guy down the road,
he will be giving his fruits away for free.
Yeah.
07818361551 is the last show on series 2. Have you got something to say? Is there something itching you? If there is, don't hesitate. And if you don't want to speak to the judge live, that's okay. Text, same number, or use the Facebook or Twitter page. We are waiting. It's true. You see, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I used to box back in the olden days, and tell you this, I was nervous going into that ring. But was it fair? No, it wasn't fair. It's just that feeling in your belly just before you go inside that ring.
I think that's quite normal. That's kind of like stage fright.
Yeah.
You know, when you sort of have to perform.
That's right.
Yeah.
But once you're on stage or you're in the ring, and you will know, you're ready.
Yeah.
You're ready for war. But
I think nerves and an element of fear is good. I think it is.
But when you're talking what's more important, fear or respect, some people will say both. Yeah,
that's true.
Some people will say both.
That's why I say, does it go hand in hand? But I'm gonna throw something else out there, because we were talking earlier. Right. So the police, I don't necessarily think that they're respected that well. But you know, when you're driving and you see a police car sort of slowly, you slow down, don't you? You start to slow down. You sort of check. I've got everything, I've got insurance, I've got car tax, MOT, because they do, you have that element of fear. All of a sudden you're being watched, you're being looked at, you're being investigated.
You would have more fear, Anna.
Nobody's relaxed around the police.
You know what, I will have to spin that a little bit. Because
who is relaxed around the police?
Who is relaxed? I mean, I'm relaxed around the police, Anna, and I will say it to you and I'll say it to my viewers, because when I'm driving my car, I want them to watch me, because I want them, it's the ones, when you're talking fear of the police, if you've got nothing to hide, you shouldn't fear the police.
But I've got nothing to hide. I still feel like sometimes the police just want to pull you up for anything.
Sometimes.
One time I was lost, okay? And I was lost. I don't know where I was going. I had my son in the car. I was driving around and I was sweating because I was thinking, the police are following me. So they stopped. They started flashing their blue lights and I thought, oh my God, here I go. And there was nothing wrong. I was just lost. They said, oh, you lost, miss? I went, yes, I am. But then I felt like they were questioning me. But there was no reason. There was no reason to question me. I was lost.
I would say the ones that fear the police, I mean, especially over here, I'm not even going to go about in the States, because that's a totally different, you know, those police over there, they most or all carry guns. I would fear, you know?
Yeah.
I would fear them. But in this country, you know, if you got something to hide, you know, there's something in the boot that ain't supposed to be in the boot, then you're gonna fear them. I mean, I've been pulled over quite a few times back in the days, but not so much now. And you have this thing is, oh, they're only pulling you over because of the color of your skin, and you know, and the stereotyping, you know, stop and search, and it's been proven, but I don't fear the police. I will say, if there was no police, what would happen?
No, I think definitely, the law is the law at the end
The
of the
law
day.
is the law.
But I do think sometimes the police
Yes.
have that power
Mm-hmm.
and they want to be feared.
It's a shame we can't get a police on the show tonight. But we've got our first text anyway, so let's see what's going on. And that's it. Keep the texts coming.
Okay. I think being scared and being feared are two very different shades of grey. If you are scared, it's because you know it can be reinforced by violence. Fear is different. I can't pronounce Machiavelli
Machiavelli.
posed the question 300 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
His answer was that it's ideal to be both if possible. However, one lasts longer than the other. The question is, which one?
Oh, and that's from
GQ.
GQ. Thank you, GQ, for that text. Machiavelli. And that man there, he quoted some amazing things that right now it's still happening. And yes, I mean, if we had to vote, we just had a text from GQ and it seemed like it's swaying to fear. But if we had to have a vote on tonight's show, would you rather be feared or respected? What I would go as far to say...
I would say respected would win.
Would win?
Yeah, I think.
But
I don't know. I think people do want an element of, to be feared at points as well sometimes.
Yes, and it all depends on the position you're in.
I
If
guess.
you're a king, if you're a leader, or back in the olden days, you wanted to be feared.
To be honest, it's leaders nowadays. I don't actually think that, I was speaking about this the other day. A lot of managers, all of a sudden, if somebody's promoted to become a manager, all of a sudden they become... I'm not going to say the word, but
Come on.
They don't become very good managers. They sort of treat the people that were on the same level as them really horribly. So it's almost like they have this lead on it and want to be feared. You start doing this, you start doing that. It's almost like they're throwing down their weight.
They forgot where they're coming from?
Yeah.
I can say that about a lot of people who would, they stepped up, and that's a very sad thing. You must never forget where you're coming from. But
it's true though, isn't it? There is an element of...
Yes, power.
It is power.
It is power, and some people, it gets to their head. But it's not going to get to our head tonight, on tonight's show. It's the Judge and Anna for the Big Debate Show. What's more important, fear or respect? If you got something to say, you know what to do. Text, Facebook or Twitter. Fear. When you're talking about respect will always, when it comes to thinking about a race, Anna.
Yeah, it's the long haul.
It's the long haul.
Yeah,
Fear is short.
Yeah, definitely.
You fear someone. You would you might fear someone at school, but once you leave school and you see that person and that time you've put on a bit of size yourself, the fear is gone. But if you respect somebody, and that's more important in my eyes, respect, it goes a long way. It goes a long way because when you respect somebody, in my eyes, you've got time for that person. You will go out your way to talk to that person, and the most important thing is time. It's precious. You will give that person time. But when you're talking about fear, it all depends what position you are.
Yeah, I guess it is about the circumstances as well. Because, just going back to maybe when I was younger again, being raised by my mum, I was afraid of her.
That's not a bad thing?
No, that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing?
I think that is a good thing. Because I respected her as well. So, but at the same time, I didn't want to, put a foot wrong in front of her because I was afraid she was going to either beat me or tell me off. So that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes an element of fear is good. My children are.
Was you scared? Was you scared of your mother, or was it just you feared your mother? Because the reason why I say that is because if you've got a problem, sometimes you're so scared you can't go up to your parents. Yeah? But I think fear, that's why I say it's kind of linked, but it all depends in what.
Yeah, it was scared. Sometimes
it was scared.
I would be in a situation, I think, I can't tell my mum because I'm going to get in trouble. I was scared that I was going to get in trouble, even though something wasn't my fault. So, for example, if anything happened at school, I'd be like, do I tell my parents? Do I tell my mum? No, I better not, because I'm going to get in trouble anyway. So maybe I should just keep quiet.
Okay. Now, to all my viewers, to all the ones who know what I'm going to say next, Anna said about the police, having fear for the police. But I'm going to put it out there on tonight's big debate show. And I'm going to say, if I had to choose, you have your parents or the police. Now, in my eyes, and I'm sure there's many viewers who will say, you know what, Judge, you are right. I would fear my parents any day more than the police. Because if you got into trouble and the police knocked your door, that's when the real fear will come into it. Yeah?
That's true.
That's when you're really scared, because you don't want your parents to know what's been going on, and you'd rather the police just keep it quiet and deal with you. When they start saying, where do you live? We need to speak to your parents. Then you're in trouble. That's real trouble.
So maybe the parents, people fear their parents more than the police.
Growing up, when I was growing up, all my friends, everyone who I know they would go to the police any day.
Yeah.
But to go to your parents, that's a different matter, because I know times have changed, but in those days, the beatings were a bit more harsh, and they didn't spare the rod. Not like nowadays.
No, nowadays it's different.
Yeah, just go to your room, John. No, there was no go to your room. There was, where's the belt?
Or which, the belt,
yes,
the stick,
yes.
the pan,
so
the
it's
slippers.
Fair. But on the other side of it, when I think about it, the ones that are showing fear, it's not nice, Anna. It's not nice.
I don't know.
It is a power thing.
It is a power thing, and the reason why I'm sort of disagreeing about it is because, like I said, when I was younger, my element of thinking was, if I was feared, then I wouldn't be, no one's going to bother me. And that worked for a really long time. And I don't think there's anybody that I'm particularly afraid of. And when I'm crossing the street on the dark night, people have said to me in the past, make sure you look at them in the eye so that you don't look vulnerable.
Yes.
Even though they might not do anything to you, but if you look strong and almost the kind of person not to be troubled with, then people will leave you alone.
So you put on a front.
So, yeah, actually, it's true, because I did not want to get into fights with people. I did not want to come face to face. But in my head, I thought that was the only thing that I thought that could work, because either it was going to be me getting all this trouble, or it's going to happen one time and everyone's going to know about it, and then that's my reputation done. So
you had to be hard. You had to be hard to survive where you were.
Yeah.
That's news to me, because I don't see you as hard.
Well, no, this was when I was much, much younger.
Yeah, and it does surprise me, that you had to do what you had to do to survive. But I'm sure you didn't go over the top.
No. I mean, these were like little scraps type things, And at the end of the day, even now, young kids are horrible. They can say really horrible, mean things.
Yes.
But at the same time, it was almost like, I'd move from one school, deal with that, then I'd have to move to another school and think, right, same thing's going to happen,
yes,
and then move again.
It reminds me of, even though I've never been there, prison. the stories I hear about prison.
Oh, I don't know about prison, but
no, it's
is
the
it same?
You know, well, it's the stories
I
that
see what
when
you mean.
yes, when you go into prison,
You have to put on a
yes,
hard exterior.
Yes. And
Yeah, I guess.
you have to act but some guys get fined out. Because there's acting hard and there's really being hard. And the ones who are acting, they do get sussed out. That's what I've heard. But we've got another text anyway.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so that's the point. Ask the minority communities in the USA right now if they fear the police. They will tell you no. They are scared of the police because of the element of violence. Fear is actually underpinned by respect.
Very, very true. And that's, do you know who that's from?
Oh yeah, GQ.
GQ?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, in America, you must have seen it on social media and all the things, you know, the shootings and, you know, the police, very heavy-handed. And I'm glad, Anna, that I don't live in America because I think you stand a better chance over here to survive.
Yeah, no, I think, we are much smaller than America, so I think, there's certain parts of America definitely where it's much, much worse.
Trigger happy. And when you say about fear, yes, the judge will be absolutely scared if he got pulled over. From what I've been seeing in the social media, I would be scared getting pulled over. I don't know where to put my hands. You know, if I make a sudden movement, that could be the end of the judge. So it's a different matter in America because they've been videoed doing a lot of terrible things out there. But in this country, of course you're gonna have the odd policeman, you know, doing bad things. But on the whole, what I've seen is nowhere near as bad as America.
And I think you would see it on social media anyway.
Everyone's got their video cameras.
Of course. So, you know, if we're not seeing that in the UK, then, you know, hopefully those sort of things are very minimal and it's not happening in the same way as America.
Blatantly beating up somebody, blatantly shooting somebody, and, you know, I think with the phones nowadays, you just press record and you've got the proof, and it is terrible. And sometimes they see it and they still ain't stopping. But we're not in America, we're in the UK. So we're going to talk about the UK issues. Back to tonight's show. If you've just tuned in, if you just clicked on, tonight's show is what's more important, fear or respect? If you were a bully, that's going to be fair. You know, if you were a boxer, it all depends how good you were. You could be, I saw, back to Mike, in their eyes, fighters scared before they got in that ring. That was fair, because they know that when Mike lands that punch, it's over.
Or that bite.
Well, that was later on in his career. I know. Oh, so. But it's a thin line. GQ mentioned it, and you know, fair power. Some people use it in the wrong way.
Yeah, no, I think so.
You know, and when you think the people respect you, they don't really respect you. They put on a mask, you know,
of course,
and they smile with you. And when you tell a joke, even though the joke ain't funny,
they're gonna laugh.
They're gonna laugh, and they ain't gonna be the one who doesn't stop laughing. They're gonna laugh. And I saw that in a drama where the Don and all his men were around him, a mafia Don, and he made a joke. And they slowed it down. And the joke weren't really funny. But because he was at the head of the table, they just burst out laughing. And it wasn't funny. And he looked around and I could think, hold on a minute. I could see in his face. He's thinking to himself, if I wasn't in this position,
they wouldn't be laughing.
They wouldn't laugh. No. They might have chucked the wine in his face. But So it's power and it's fair.
But then he's probably not respected. I mean, let's say now that Don, was put in a position where he could almost be killed.
Yeah.
Would any of them have helped him? Because then that's a respect thing, isn't it? If you respect that person.
Yes.
If you were afraid and scared of that person, you'd probably want them gone.
Yes, and I would say, looking at him, it wouldn't bring a lot of tears to their eyes if the bullets went to his belly.
Yeah.
But that's another,
Well, if you think about gang-related type of people, they have to have an element of it because they're competing against other, other people's.
Yeah.
Let's say it's to do with drugs.
Yes.
They're selling on this estate, but they want to take over this estate, so they're going to fight over the gang over there and become more afraid.
Yeah.
So.
And talking about gangs and crime, when you witness something, and it's happened countless times, and you might witness a murder or something this person's
or an
done.
incident, yeah.
Yes. Now, because of fear, you've turned a blind eye. And when the police come to question the witnesses, everyone says, I didn't see a thing. And they saw everything. But because they are fear, they're thinking about their own safe, their own lives. They're saying, nope, I didn't see a thing. Now that's fear. That is fear. And that goes all over the world where gangs are controlling certain areas, and because of fear, the locals keep quiet. But respect, Anna. When you respect somebody, it goes a long way. And for starters, it's your parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all starts off with your parents. Growing your kids up right, you will understand that the kids respect the parents.
I mean, you hear that a lot as well, like, respect your elders.
Respect your elders. Yes, you do hear that.
But then, some old people are quite horrible.
Yeah, but
They are.
Well, yes, but even though they're horrible, and I could understand where you're coming from, you keep that to yourself. You will still say hi, and you will show them that respect because they're older than you.
They're older, yeah.
But talking about your parents, you would respect them, and you would respect your aunties if you got any, and your uncles, and it grows that way. And that is not about fear. I wouldn't say I feared my parents. I respected them. When I'm talking fear, there was a little bit of fear, meaning that if I got into trouble, I know what's coming my way. But to talk to them, that wasn't fair. To go up to them and ask them a question, I didn't fear that. I feared getting into trouble. So I didn't fear my parents, but I feared that if anything was to happen and they found out, that's what I feared.
Yeah, I guess it's the same with me, but even to sort of talk to them, when I was younger, it was that thinking that if I said anything, even if it wasn't my fault, I was still going to get in trouble. So I would be like, nope. Too scared to say anything. And for example, like if my brother did something, and I saw it, I was too scared to tell my parents because I would probably get the blame.
Were you the oldest in the family?
Yes.
Maybe that's what it is, Adam.
Yeah. No, I think it was.
Yeah.
So
you should know better.
Yeah. Exactly that. So if my brother did something wrong, but the worst thing is, it's a catch-22. So if I didn't say anything that they found out anyway, I'd get in trouble. But if I'd said anything, I'd get in trouble.
So it seems like you couldn't win in your family.
No, as they've got older and as I've got older, it's fine. And I loved the way that my parents raised me. I had a lot of respect for them, and I still do now.
And I can respect that. And your upbringing sometimes mold you to who you are now.
Definitely.
Yeah? Your upbringing. So, if you came from a family that was one of those families that didn't have morals or respect, and the parents let the kids do anything, I see kids on the street at a young age swearing, saying these words that I wouldn't dream of saying. And then I say to myself, well, where's the respect? You wouldn't act like that amongst. All right, don't matter how we were back when I was young. If some elderly person walked past, don't matter what we were talking about, we would change the subject or lower the tone. And that was a respect thing.
Yeah.
Yeah? Don't matter if we were talking about girls or whatever. And don't matter if one or two of us in the group were swearing, the swearing would stop. And we would, hi, Miss Jane.
Yeah, I don't like swearing. I don't swear in front of my parents at all, even just to say, I don't know, stupid. To me, feels like a swear word in front of my mum.
I understand.
So I would say silly or something.
Yes.
It just seems really weird. But if I'm on the phone to a friend and I am swearing and my mum overhears me, my mum will say, God, you sounded very angry then. You were I feel devastated that my mum would hear me say these words.
And that, as you said at the start, it's fair, yeah, with respect. But now it's total respect.
Yeah, as I've got older.
There's no fear now.
No.
It's total respect.
Yeah.
And going back to the kids, nowadays, a lot of kids out there, and they don't fear or respect. The way how they're carrying on. And
just selfish.
Yeah, and I think to myself, oh my word. Look at the kids nowadays. They've got everything. Everything's laid out on the table, and it's too easy for them, and they still want more. Sorry, kids. I don't want to be shooting you down, but
do you know what it is, though? It's because they don't have the right role models. That's what it is. And I do feel sorry for some of the young kids, because if they're not strong enough to be able to, bring themselves up, if they are in a situation that there is no morals and there's no values, no principles. I'm not saying that all of them are like that, because some people do come out of it and they grow up into great adults, because just because their parents or their upbringing was really bad doesn't necessarily mean they turn into bad people. But it is a struggle when you're young, because you are vulnerable and you are influenced and tempted by a lot of things. And I blame that on the fact that we are in a society that there isn't great role models for them to look up to.
Role models. I know, well, the role models nowadays are maybe the pop stars, the rap stars.
But even then, like you look at, let's say football celebrities, footballers. There was one incident that there was a guy that was particularly racist, and he had a lot of fan base, and that's disappointing because they don't care about their fans. They don't care about the people that are looking up to them.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes people say things and do things without thinking, and I would say we don't have to mention his name, and we won't, but as soon as he said it, I'm sure he regretted it, because footballers, anyone in the limelight, they have a moral duty when it comes to, because there's a lot of kids that look up to them. That's what I mean.
Yeah. If you are going to take on that and know that you are taking on that role, then you should know that you are being a role model.
You mean a role model?
And there are young people that are looking up to you.
That's right. And that's all about respect. It goes a long way,
Respect who you are, gosh.
Respect who you are. I mean, I've always been one to respect the elderly. That's just automatic, like so many of my viewers out there. You don't think about it, it's just automatic. You don't say certain things when older people are in the room.
It's true.
That's a respect. But when you're talking about fear, you don't want to be in the room. You don't want to be in that room with that person.
With that person. No.
That's fear. And, that's not a nice feeling. That's not a nice feeling, because I remember when I was at school and some guys tried to pick on me, and even up to this day I can still picture their face. And you know, certain horrible things were going through my mind if I could see them now. But I have to move on, you know, and let what needs to be, because sometimes it comes back on you. So you have to leave them alone. But yes, bullying at school was not, the teachers used to leave that alone, Anna.
Yeah, they
It
don't
wasn't,
now.
no,
I hope
but
so, but back then,
back in those
it
days,
wasn't.
don't tell lies, don't tell fibs. But miss, no, you're lying. And it can cause you to, you know, kids have killed themselves.
Yeah, they have.
They've hanged themselves. They've tried to kill themselves. Depression sets in. They don't want to go to school. It affects their health. Fear? It's not a nice thing when you're on the other end of it. But giving out fear, some people, they love that. They love to be feared, you know, they love to be feared. You get I've got nothing against dogs, you know, nothing against dogs. But I remember, you know, you walk down the street and you see a guy with one of those, you know, those pit bull kind of dogs, and he got the big chain on, you know, and the dog looks strong and healthy, and he's walking up to you. I'm going to move across to the other road because of fear. You know, when you see that dog, and sometimes they want you to, not all of them, but some people know that this type of dog, you know, there's going to be people who are going to be wary of him.
Yeah.
That's fear. But respect to me is a beautiful thing, Anna.
No, definitely. I think a majority of people, I mean, I was just going to say that there was, somebody had said, Vicky Rand said, I'd rather respect someone than fear them, and I'd rather be respected than feared. So I guess, you know, if that's something that's important to you, it's almost what you put out there.
Definitely.
So it's whatever you feel.
Whatever you feel, and it all depends what type of business you're in.
I guess so, yes.
Because if you're let me say, even though I don't know any of them, if you're a drug dealer, it's about fear.
Of course, yeah.
It's all about fear.
Violence, crime, all of that.
Yes, because, you know, if someone takes your stuff and they're supposed to pay you, you're not going to be nice. You're going to be ruthless.
No, because it's almost like that whole reputation. If you're too nice or you don't do anything about somebody that may have ripped you off.
That's right.
Then they're going to think, oh, okay, well, we can rip
them off too.
Yeah, we could rip them off too.
So that's why
they almost have to show.
Yes.
Right, well,
this is what's going down.
Exactly. This is what's going to happen, so that people do not rip me off.
Exactly. And that's why I go back to prison. You know, I've watched things on TV, and
it's true, actually.
And you got these guys that first time in prison, and you know, maybe their friends have told them, listen, you have to act a certain way. You know, you can't go in there all sheepish. You have to be a tough guy.
I can't imagine, but even if you are a tough guy,
they're going to test you.
Of course.
They're going to test you. That's why I said you got the guys who act tough and the guys that are tough. You know, but
I wonder if there are cellmates that they respect though.
It all depends on the size of the guy.
Definitely if it was Mike Tyson.
It all depends. I mean, I'm only a small, slim guy, and I know that if I touch wood, I never go to that place. But if I was in prison and there was a guy who was 6'9" and he wanted to sleep in the top bunk, I will build a ladder. I'm going to build a ladder, yeah, and I'm going to help him up. But saying that, sometimes if you're too weak, they take advantage in many ways, Anna. In many ways.
Yes, he won't be at the top bunk, will he?
No, it won't be at the top bunk.
Cuddle time.
It's cuddle time. And
yeah,
no.
I get that, but I think at the end of the day, you're still laughing. I'm not laughing because I'm afraid. I'm laughing because it is funny.
This is what the big debate show all about. Yeah, we've got to have a laugh. It can't all be serious on the big debate show. Come on now. But yes, it's so true. My viewers, Mr. Judge and Anna, if you just tuned in, what's more important, fear or respect? Have you got an opinion on it? You know the number 07818 361 551, or send us a text, use the Facebook or Twitter page, leave out the W. But it's been a good show. We've only got 15 minutes left. Fair. In prison, it goes a long way, Hannah.
Yeah, well...
If you're a gangster,
I guess if your reputation was quite bad in the outside and people in the inside heard, you know, that you were coming in, then I guess, because you do, I mean, I only see it in movies, but you do see people, gangsters, coming into prison, but they're living like kings.
Living like kings.
Living like kings. Now, I don't know if that is an almost reality take on what it could possibly be. I mean, even the police officers or the wards, the wardens are like giving them anything they want, TVs, food, anything, you know.
I mean, I've seen that in like Mexico, where some of those, you know, I watch TV and some of the big time dons, you know, they're in prison, but they're not really in prison because they're still getting their good food and it's power. In prison, it's power, because you can be ruthless in prison. But if you got the power, that means you've got other people around you, and you've got the money to support them.
I was thinking of the film, Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
Remember the old man?
I love that
left.
film.
I know. One of my favourite classic films. The old man that left, he didn't know what to do with himself, did he?
No.
He was so afraid of the outside world.
Yes.
Because he was so used to being on the inside.
Spent too long in there.
Spent too long, yeah.
Spent too long in there, and you know, it's.
And he was afraid of outside.
And
he was free.
He was free. But when you spend most of your life in prison,
you build your family.
You know, and that's a good film. But back to tonight's show, fear or respect? I don't fear you, Anna.
No, that's good. But if you bullied me when I was younger, you would have.
I think if I bullied you now, I mean, I've seen you put on those gloves, and the way how you hit those pads, I can hear the sound. It's not nice, Anna. So looks are deceiving. Sometimes it's not even about your size. You see, I mean, the reason why I say that, because I've seen this thing a few years back, and it was in Kingston. And this Don was only a little small guy. He wasn't. We always think the ones that, you know, you fear. No,
big, massive
it doesn't
people,
work like that. This guy was very small, but what he had was power. And I was gobsmacked to see that the police had to let him out to tell the people to calm down. I'm out now, I'm free. The people were kicking up. Yeah, it was like a riot.
Wow.
And they had
to let him. It was respected then?
Well, he was respected.
By a lot of people.
Yeah, and sometimes it's who you know. The connections that you have. You know, and sometimes you can, there's people in higher places, and because you've got them in your pocket, those people will try their best to make sure you're comfortable.
That's true.
And try to, you know, set you free if they can, or make sure that you live a good life, unless they try to kill you. But apart from that, it's fair respect. It comes hand in hand.
Sometimes, though, I think if you are not afraid of things or people, you almost have that level of confidence, don't you?
Yes.
I definitely did when I was younger. I felt ready. Like,
you sound like you was ready. I mean,
I felt like I could. I did feel like I had that power, that confidence. Like if somebody did mess with me, then I was ready.
You was ready.
Yeah.
You was ready for war.
Well, no, it was never war. But if I felt challenged, then I knew exactly what to do back.
And that is not a
retaliate, I guess.
And throughout the show, I've never said you were bad. I've never said, why did you act that way? Because sometimes it's circumstances and it's survival mode.
Yeah, there you go. It is survival mode, I guess, and fighting back.
And you have to defend yourself. But the difference is defending yourself is one thing, but being a bully and going around, picking on kids because of your size and the way how you are, and the kids will give their sweetie money, give the sweets away because they don't respect you. It's because they fear you. And you notice sometimes the bullies get bullied.
Yeah, that's how I felt. That was like me. I felt like I was fighting the bullies so that they would stop bullying.
It goes a little way, it doesn't go all the way. I mean, from what I can sense right now, that most people would say respect will always conquer.
Definitely.
But it all depends on the circumstances, because school, prison, gangs, places where fear plays an important part, people are going to side with fear, because out of fear for someone, you're going to respect that person. So when that person says, stop, stay where you are, it's fear and respect. Because of the respect, you go overboard, you know what's going to happen. This person's going to do some things that you don't want done to you. So it's fear first and then respect.
Yeah.
But how I see it, there's nothing sweeter in life when a person can be true to him or herself.
Definitely.
And know that it has nothing to do with fear. I don't fear you, I respect you. And in my eyes, that goes a long way.
I think it goes. But if you respect somebody, you're not afraid to tell them the things that if they've done something wrong. It doesn't mean, you're not scared to tell them the truth.
Tell them the truth.
But some people that you may be scared of, you wouldn't necessarily.
That's right. And then, as you say, you become fake around that person.
Of course, yeah, because you're not really being honest with them. You're not being real with them yourself. Yeah. So, by respecting somebody or respecting somebody out there, you're not scared of them because you are able to speak with them like on a one-to-one.
That's right. That is so true. And I'm sure the ones that are on the other side can tell that this person don't respect me. This is just straight fear. And they will just say, all right, fair enough. There's no friends in this game anyway. But no. When it comes to respect, it goes to the grave. Yeah, it goes all the way to the grave, because you respect your parents, you respect your close friends, the ones who are there for you through thick and thin. Don't care if you've got money or not. Don't care if you're high or low. The respect is always going to be there. And that counts.
No, it does count, definitely.
That counts. And sometimes you can tell by the people that are around you that, hold on, look at this person here. You can see that the respect is natural. I've seen you with your good friends around you, Anna, and I say, yes, she has a natural respect. But guess what? You give out respect too.
Yeah, and I think it goes two ways. It does go, it goes hand in hand. I think somebody had mentioned it earlier. They respect people more than they would fear them, but it's the same to them. They want to be respected. So it's what you give out, I guess.
Well, you said it. What you give out, it should come back.
It should, yeah.
It should come back. But then, on the other hand, sometimes you give out respect, it doesn't come back, so you give out fear. Yeah, you give out fear, and sometimes the fear, it brings back the respect. We have another text, Anna.
It's true.
We've got 6 minutes left on the show.
Okay, it's better to be respected than to be feared. If you respect a person, you will listen to what they have to say, even if you don't agree with them, and you can go to them for advice and support them in their time of need. No name.
No name, but
Oh.
thank you. Thank you, whoever that is, for that text. You know, this is our last show for series 2. We've got 5 minutes, and
It's a great topic. It really is. It's a good topic.
I do try to pick the ones that most people can get involved with.
Well, I think because, when I threw it out there, I think a lot of people did, like I said, a lot of people chose respect, but there are times it does go hand in hand. And then there are times, like, just as you just mentioned, sometimes it doesn't go hand in hand. And, fearing somebody or being is almost an element of being scared. And that's not a great feeling. And that can't be a sign of respect to anybody.
No. But people love power.
Yes, I guess.
The whole world is built on power. Conquering. When you had back in the olden days where countries will go to other countries, they didn't go there and the people respected them. They feared them. Take the gold. Take all the diamonds. That was fair.
Yeah.
That wasn't respect. They had to do it. Yeah. and you never get the pureness from fear. You might get what you're looking for. It all depends what business you're in, but you're never going to get the pureness. And respect does come a long way. And it's, as you said, it's two-way.
Yeah,
it's
I
two-way.
think so. It does.
How can you respect that person, but that person doesn't respect you?
Yeah, exactly. And how do how do you expect to be respected if you do not respect them?
Very true, very true. And it's very simple, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Respect is very simple. It's something that you...
I think I think I would say this, it's to do with maturity. You almost think that fear, that reputation of being feared is a sign of respect, but you realise as you get older it isn't at all.
No. And when you're talking about fear, without going too deep because we're nearly out of time, but fear can link to abuse. Yeah? Because you fear this person, you will let them do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And that will lead to abuse. Now, without going too deep in abuse, that is definitely linked. Fear, abuse. And it could be from kids, it could be from your girlfriend, many different lanes. But respect to me will always conquer. Yeah, it will always conquer because I don't want no one to be fake around me.
I don't think anybody out there really wants to be feared. I think sometimes in certain circumstances that reputation needs to be there. But deep down, I don't think there's anybody out there that wouldn't want to be respected.
No, because when you get older, and as you say, as you grow and you start thinking smartly, and you don't want fake people around you.
No.
Do you want a whole sea of people that fear you? Or do you want a whole sea of people that respect you? I think most people want respect, as you said. And we got 2 minutes left on the show.
I guess it depends on how much power you have.
Yeah, it does. I mean, if I was a king, I know I'm a judge, but if I was a king, fear has to come into it, especially back in the olden days.
Yeah,
You can't live on respect. You can't.
I mean, I don't fear the Queen.
No, why would you want to fear her?
No, but I'm saying like now I don't think there are leaders that we fear, although they have power.
No, but without going too deep, there might not be leaders, but there's groups out there, without calling any groups, that you will fear.
Yeah, definitely.
Because of what they have been doing throughout the world and their actions, and the vile things they are doing. So it's a fear thing, but it's not a respect thing. Yeah, you don't respect them, you just fear them, because You fear for your life. Ooh, oh my word. We have run out of time on the Big Debate Show.
And I still had more to say.
That's what I like about you. But I'd rather we end on a high than a low.
Okay, though.
And it's been, let me just turn to you first. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
It has been so fun to do the show.
Series 2.
I know.
You've brought intelligence, you know, you make me laugh. You've taught me a few little things.
Good.
And
I've learned a few little things myself since, you know, openly discussing, you know, different topics and subjects. It's been good, educational and entertaining.
That's what the Big Debate Show is all about. And let me say this, if you've missed any of the shows, all the shows are on YouTube. So all you need to go is on YouTube and tap in the Big Debate Show, and you've got about 25 shows to choose from. If there's anything you want to say to the judge, do it on my Facebook page or my website, the Twitter, anything you want to say, any subjects you want me to bring up, because we will be back.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's going to be a different flavor. And I'm not going to give away that just now.
No.
We will be back on the show. Oh, we've got one last text just before we go.
Just in time.
Just in time.
That's good, because I didn't want it to end anyway.
The last text of series
here we go.
2.
To be respected is always far better than to be feared, as a fear of something only lasts a time. Respect is normally earned, and as long as that is kept sacred, it will always remain. Mr. For real.
Mr.
Do you know
For
what?
real.
I was going to say that, actually.
Thank you.
Respect is earned. It is.
It sure is earned. It sure is earned. Thank you, Mr. For real. That is
Closing on that
that's
note,
a beautiful
brilliant.
way. You know, I know the show will end, but I have to say this. I've been touched by quite a lot of the texts and phone calls from all the viewers that took time out throughout the series.
Yes, yes.
You know, and
the
I appreciate it.
And the just listening as well, because I know people listen and watch, although they're not texting and calling, because I speak to them. So
that's right. But the Big Debate Show will be back, and all you have to do is just keep clicking onto my Facebook page, the Big Debate Show, and you will get all the information in time, because we will be back, and we're going to come back with a lot of fire. It's going to be a totally different setup, and I'm so excited, but I'm not going to give it away just yet. So on that note, I would like to thank Bloodfire Studios and AJLR Media. It's been a pleasure. Rockabessa, once again, it's been a pleasure having you as my co-host.
It has been a pleasure just being here and taking part. I feel such a privilege to be on the show.
Oh, but I'm going to tell you something. You're so natural and you're easy going on me. You don't back me in a corner.
I may
Too
do
much.
in the next season.
Well, that's all right. As I
If
said,
people want that, then that's
okay by the judge. Just be yourself. That's all I ask. And you have from start to finish, and I appreciate that. But most importantly, I would like to thank everyone who watched the show every single week. The ones who phoned in and the ones who've texted in. I appreciate it to the max. But this is the end of season 2. You can catch all the shows on YouTube, like I said. But for now, until we return with the Big Debate Show, it's going to be hot. It's going to be stormy when we come back. I'm so excited. But for now, please take care of yourselves and always show respect.
That's good.
From the judge and Anna, remember, the judge doesn't judge, and we all have a voice. See you soon.
See you soon.
All my viewers, bye-bye for now. a high five, man. I enjoyed that one, you know.
That was a good one.
Wicked.
Wow.
Wicked.